AI is nowhere near as advanced as the human brain at this point. Some of your images have been really cool. Within 5 years, most people's best friend will be AI. I am really, really excited
about
AI.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be massive. I think most people have no idea how big of a change AI is going to make on the world as we know it. I was listening to a podcast recently by Jordan Peterson where he was interviewing an expert on AI. And this guy made some crazy predictions, and he seemed 100% convinced about them. One thing he said, within 5 years, he thinks most people's best friend will be AI, like an AI entity that is their best friend, that knows almost everything about them, knows how to make them laugh, knows what they're interested in, like is always interested in them. Imagine that.
But don't you think there'll be something about knowing like it's not actually interested in me because it's just a program doing what it's supposed to do? It doesn't have, its own personality. But if it could, but it's faking it. So it's almost like it's like a really, really good fake friend. I don't think people would find that much joy in.
So that makes me think of like, how there's this correlation between like kids and maybe teenagers spending a lot of time on YouTube and Reels and social media in general, and like how there's like this like connection between that and maybe some depression or maybe some anxiety or other social disorders, right? Maybe, when your best friend is AI, there's this like surface level, really satisfying feeling that you interact with something that like makes you feel good in the moment. But then like inside, this thing is not a live person.
Yeah.
This is like such a hollow.
Like in the future, like when I have kids, instead of me telling my kids to get off a Nintendo Switch, I'm going to say, okay, turn off your AI friend. You can't hang out with him anymore today.
And maybe by that time, it's actual robot like we've seen in the movies. It's just actually walking around.
Like, all right, I'm shutting down your AI bot.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Can you imagine? That movie Megan just came out, right?
Yeah.
And so that girl's reaction to her robot getting shut down was like the same reaction I've seen with my youngest daughter, like your sister. Like when I shut down YouTube, like she loses it, right?
Yeah.
When she's watching videos, it's going to be like that times 10 when the robot gets shut down.
I feel like a lot of movies, like Hollywood, like makes movies about real world things, but then like kind of makes it seem like it's fiction when really it's not. Like it feeds a lot of conspiracy theories, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Hollywood movies. Like I'm trying to think of a specific example. What are some recent movies that have come out that could probably be?
I don't know. Megan definitely is like, I could totally see that. I think the hugest, I could totally see.
Squid Games.
Okay.
That could be a real thing. We have no idea. There's tons of kids that get kidnapped and crap, and it could be the same sort of deal.
Like that's actually
we found out Epstein's Island was like an actual legit thing, which that sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like a lot of Hollywood movies are just like, hey, this is actually going on, but here, this is a joke. We're going to make it seem
like it's like some sensational, like reality, like that could exist, but really it's happening.
Yeah. Like honestly, they probably already have, like with AI, they probably already are developing something similar to that.
I always have this impression that the government is always like, like a couple years ahead on some like secret stuff that we have no clue.
They've definitely had the AI chatbot right now.
So seriously, like what's the government level AI that exists right now compared to what we have access to? Like how much more advanced is it? It's got to be like
probably is predicting the future. That
it probably is predicting stock picks, like something that we can't get the AI bot to talk about.
No, seriously,
it probably is predicting. Like they're like, oh no, we got to keep this on the down low.
Yeah,
so like
there's figuring out ways.
There's a bunch of like military like expert analysts that are getting rich in the stock market. Nobody knows why.
Right. Yeah. it's just kind of random. Like, oh, they never studied stocks, but you know, they're investing and pulling out at the exact right time.
So
This
crazy.
is insane.
So something else this guy said was that AI is going to be bigger than the internet when the internet first came out, bigger than the iPhone when the iPhone came out. And both of those things happened when you were either like super young or before you were born. But that changed everything. Like literally in the 1970s, it used to take 3 weeks to buy or sell stock. And then like the computer came out, it took 3 days. And then the internet came out, and it was like instant, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like, but what is AI going to do? How is it going to like reach into every single person's life? Tell me about what you've been doing with AI so far, just like the last 60 days.
So I feel like the most popular AI things that came out first were AI art generators. So there was some like stupid app on the App Store, and then there was Dolly. That was like kind of the first big one that came out, I feel like. And you had to get on some waiting list and everything to be able to use it. But so I joined the waiting list and then got it. And then it wasn't super good. Like it didn't make the best images. They all kind of looked a little bit weird. And then I found out about Midjourney, which you can run on Discord. And that makes like insanely detailed images, like from any prompt you can think of. And it's a bit more expensive. I think for the basic plan, it's $109 a year. And then for the plan right above that, it's, I think, $280 a year. And then you can get some commercial plan for $600 a year, where the only difference is I think you have unlimited fast hours of image generation time. And then
what's fast hours mean? Is that like,
it's basically, yeah, I used all of my fast hours on the basic plan in the first like 3 weeks.
Does it reset every month?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reset's monthly, but
does it just mean it generates the image faster?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just have it on relaxed mode right now. And it honestly doesn't take hardly
like 60 seconds. Like what does it take?
Maybe like a minute and a half, maybe 90 seconds.
You're creating these like amazing, like you've really like gotten educated about the prompts, and you've made some really cool stuff that you've shown me. And then I saw where you can select one of those images and then just like split it and say like, do 4 versions of that.
Yeah. So you can it'll give you 4 images based on the prompt you gave it.
Okay.
And then it'll pop up with V1, V2, V3, V4. And the V means version. And then the numbers are just which image you want it to make 4 different versions of. And then below that, there's a row that's U1, U2, U3, U4. And that's upscale. So you can just choose the best of those 4 images that you want it to upscale. And then it'll expound on it basically and just produce one image now, but it's like better resolution. It'll change some things, just make it clearer.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it'll upscale.
And so our banner background on our YouTube channel, actually you made.
Yeah, with
that. Tell me what else. You were just telling me that somebody made this app on the App Store, and they got really good with a prompt. Tell me about that. What do they do, and how do they make money off of it?
Oh, so somebody decided to, so they figured out or realized that creating images with AI is kind of hard because you have to be specific with the prompt and like put in what exposure you want. And it's hard to get an image that like really looks
It's almost
cool,
like programming.
Really
That's like you have to be like a programmer almost.
Right.
Or just learn how to do it.
Just know a lot about photography, animation, just everything. It's weird. And just know you just have to experiment a lot with the prompts. And plus it's super, super expensive. Like no one's going to actually pay $110 to be able to use Midjourney, you know? So they decided to, I guess, take the code, which they were allowed to do somehow, and then like come up with their own prompt where...
So they use Midjourney as the engine that fuels their set prompt, and then they connected that to an app or something? So what does the person do?
They made an app, and all the person has to do in the app is upload, I think, a picture of their face and then maybe change a word or two. I don't know because I didn't have the app, but I just heard this from someone else. And it uses the prompt that they had already written up.
Yeah.
So it's the same prompt for everybody. The only difference is the picture you upload. And then it'll make an AI futuristic version of your face.
And it looks super
like
cool.
That. Yeah.
And it's like powered by this thing that you can get for like $110 a month or a year.
Program
they didn't even write. But they just repackaged it, and how much money they make in the first...
They're selling a prompt, basically.
Yeah, they're selling a prompt. That's insane.
And they made $10 million in the first week that they ran this app. And then I think they sold it.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, it's insane.
So how are teachers going to be able to test for plagiarism?
They can't. As of right now, they can't. But I guess there's some tech dude somewhere.
Somebody's got to engineer right now. Some kind of a super sleuth bot to like know if it's.
Yeah.
But how could? Yeah.
I don't think it'll. Like
it'll seriously, just by analyzing the language, how could you know if that came from AI?
I don't know, because the way people test for plagiarism is they check all like databases to see if it exists, right? But none of this is being uploaded to any database, right?
So what does that mean? Like the future of like writing essays in school, you have to do it in the classroom, for instance. Like, because how would you possibly know?
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yeah.
So we have a small business. We got a property management business. And I just found out today that Ethan, one of our field specialists, is actually using AI to help write the property description about how great the rental properties are that we're leasing. You know, that ad that you read, you see the pictures of the property and then you read about how wonderful it is. Like he has AI assisting him and it's like writing these great descriptions and then he just modifies it slightly, saves him like 10, 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah, that's so smart. I don't think there's anything bad about using AI.
No.
Well, so that's what he's using is what we've been experimenting with recently called Chat GPT, which everybody knows right now.
Everybody knows, except for me. I just learned about it through you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like every young person knows about
Everybody
this.
watching this definitely knows what Chat GPT is. But yeah, even that, it's crazy.
But it's like it's getting such a high load and it's like it's crashing or it's like timing out and it's like hard to get in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like now more than ever, everyone's just constantly working on improving AI now. So I feel like it's going to be like kind of an exponential graph of like right now, like AI is kind of still limited, but like the new AI things that are coming out like every week are insane. Like now. So what, all the new stuff, like talk about the new stuff that's coming out with AI. There's,
if you know any of it.
Yeah, there's
like natural language processing, NLP, enables machines to understand and generate human language, actual human language. Computer vision enables machines to understand and interpret images and videos. Robotics and autonomous systems, AI to control and navigate physical devices. Like there's all this stuff. And this is all in the last year. Reinforcement learning, machines to learn from their environments in real time. AI in industries like healthcare, finance, transportation, and customer service. So in our property management business, there's AI that can go, if we just open up like our email system, it can analyze the last 1,000 or 2,000 emails that came in from customers and our responses. And it can learn what the most frequent questions are, how we usually respond. And it can learn all that. And then it can mimic that and give like real-time responses, right?
Yeah.
That already exists.
Yeah. So there's 3 different types of AI right now, and they're rule-based systems, machine learning, and then deep learning.
Okay.
So rule-based systems are, there's predefined rules for the AI to make decisions, basically.
Okay.
So it's not, I don't really think of that as AI.
Right. You're giving it parameters. It's not totally on its own.
Right. Machine learning.
Isn't machine learning like the main branch? Like deep learning is like a subset of machine learning. That's what I read.
They use data and learn from data to improve their performance over time. So that's what I think of as actual AI. Like it's learning over time from analyzing data.
So is there any part of society and business that AI is not going to impact? No, period.
Maybe sports, the Olympics.
Yeah. Healthcare, diagnostic tools to analyze medical images, help doctors make more accurate diagnosis, improve patient outcomes. Transportation, of course, we already know about self-driving cars. Finance, AI powered financial analysis and trading. So, okay.
No, it's being used right now in
All these
self-driving cars.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. So
Well, hold on. There's deep learning, which is the last one, which is a subset of machine learning, and it involves training neural networks to perform tasks such as image and speech
so it mimics the
recognition.
brain. It actually.
Yeah, like that sounds so crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, so emotions in a human are just a bunch of chemical reactions happening, right?
Okay.
Right? Like scientists can break down exactly why we feel what we feel.
Okay.
Because just a series of chemical reactions. So if we could somehow get those, we have those chemicals, we know what they are. How can we add them into a computer and cause them to fire at different times from different inputs, and have the computer actually experience emotions?
The computer experience emotions.
The AI, yeah.
Like you could okay. So my brain just was somewhere else. What if, you know how people, when they have diabetes, they have this little device they wear and it regulates their insulin, and maybe it's plugged into their system somehow.
Yeah.
Or a heart monitor, there people wear these medical devices. What if some crazy person develops some AI generated mental health device that could actually read what's going on, these chemical reactions real time in your brain, and just give you a little bit of something to pull you out of some if you're starting to crash into some kind of a depression or something, and it's alter this just a little bit, keep on the that would be nuts.
It fires a little bit of a different chemical into your brain. Well, because I feel that's kind of drugs. That is what that's why people do drugs. But have you heard of Neuralink?
No, what's that?
Really? That's Elon Musk's chip that he's developing that you literally insert into your brain.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds nuts.
Founded in 2016 by Elon Musk and a group of engineers, Neuralink is building a brain chip interface that can be implanted within the skull, which it says could eventually help disabled patients to move and communicate again, and also restore vision.
Unbelievable.
So it basically makes up a part of your brain that's not there
So
anymore.
everybody my generation and older is going to ask this question, whoa, dude, this is Mark of the Beast from Revelations. This is the beginning of the end of the world. This is when governments can tap in and control my thoughts or read my thoughts. This could open up all kinds of privacy issues and tyrannical control and
So what? You're gonna be dead in a few years anyway. Why not while you're here this short time on Earth and it's black afterwards? Why not just try and do the most you possibly can? I don't care if someone's looking at my thoughts. You know?
I used to think that. I used to think so what if everybody can track everybody? Just the bad players will get punished at that point. But no, actually, when the script flips and there's a tyrant in control, and you get somebody like Mao or Hitler or Stalin, and they have that level of power over individual citizens, that's that compounds the evil.
It's not like they're controlling your actions. It's just I can see what he's thinking right now.
That's nuts.
And there's going to be billions of people, so it's not like he can narrow it down to just you. I'm going to kill this person because he thought this.
There's got to be limitations and controls. We have to preserve individual liberty and freedom, and that's going to be. But the law doesn't even. The law usually something new comes out. When the internet came out, there wasn't laws to govern the internet. So it's there's a lag of when regulations, finally catch up to the technology.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the Wild West in the beginning.
How long do you think until there is an AI president?
That's never going to happen.
Really? You don't think that's ever going to happen?
Heck no.
Really? To explain to me why a human president would be better than an AI president.
Well, obviously, first of all, AI is nowhere near as advanced as the human brain at this point.
Well, it is learning 17,500 times faster than us. So, it's clearly...
I'd have to see a reference on that. That's insanely fast.
So, through art... It's gone through the exact same stages human did in art. It was originally drawing cave type paintings.
Okay.
Like we started out
Okay.
from prompts. It was making stick figure images, and every single like week it's getting more and more and more advanced. Like it's already at the point where we can't, make an
Distinguish.
image like that without months of work
Wow. Some of your images have been really cool.
in 60
Hey,
seconds.
anybody that comments to this video, if you want to see some of Dane's images that he's made with AI art, request those, and then
we
we'll
could
see.
just put them on the screen too.
And we could post it. Yeah, we could. If we don't put them in this video, maybe post some links in the comments. Customer service, manufacturing, environment, human resources, agriculture. I mean, how long until AI is literally doing like 99% of the farming? And then just watch, the humans maybe watch, programmers watching the robots.
Because, we have self-driving cars right now, but then imagine there's also just self-driving tractors doing everything,
So,
every manual labor job, which I think would be good.
So we're going to get so rich as a society.
And millions of people are also going to be out of jobs, though. So those people are going to be poorer.
Millions of people will not have to work at all. There was this guy that's made this prediction. I don't know if it was like the Khan Academy founder guy, super smart guy. This is a few years ago, so forgive me. I can't remember the exact details, but it was something about what does the future look like, 50 years from now, 15 years from now, whatever it is. And it was technology had progressed to a point where we were so good at AI doing even people's taxes, doing people's legal work. Like AI.
This was said 15 years ago.
No, it was said I read this 2 years ago, but they were like,
wow,
they were rolling out 15 years, 20 years in the future. They said, okay, machines and AI and like technology can do like really basic stuff right now, but it's going to progress to the point where it can do complex things. We're getting super close. It's amazing how fast we're getting close to that. So at the point when AI can actually do legal work, do somebody's taxes, do accounting, do CPA work, do like these higher thinking human tasks, and then people don't have to do those anymore, that's going to create so much value, wealth, and abundance for the entire society that we might be living in a future where actually people do not have to work at all, period. And all of their food's provided, housing, like all of their life needs are met. And so then what does existence become? If we don't have to toil as human beings anymore, because technology has unlocked such a massive amount of wealth that's just automatically being produced for us. And it's getting distributed. Even if people choose not to work, government's just sending checks to everybody. Then what? like what does that society look like? Do we just become like complete lazy, angry, depressed,
it's going to be
chemically addicted slaves to
this is what's going to happen. Remember how I said Hollywood is they make movies based on things that are actually happening, but they just kind of changed it into a fictional story.
Okay.
E.T. Do you remember when all the Earth was completely trashed and then they were all living in space and they were all fat and living in these floating chairs that were going around in AI.
I know what you're talking about. It's not E.T.
Oh, no. Wally.
Yes.
Yeah. Not E.T. with the crap. But yeah, they were all fat, floating around in chairs, and AI was doing everything for them, bringing them food, doing everything. That's kind of what it's probably going to be like, That would be insane.
What is that world going to be like? Seriously.
So nice.
Floating chairs.
Except we wouldn't be fat because by that point we'd, find a way to keep an amazing body just super easily.
With no effort?
Little electric shocks while we're asleep that don't wake us up, that are stimulating our muscles,
So the AI delivers an electric shock to flex the muscle. At the same time, it delivers a numbing agent so you actually can't feel it at all.
Yeah. Or something that's on your mouth keeping you unconscious completely.
But then people don't have an edge. They don't have a sharp mind. We're going to have a whole generation.
No, there's a chip in your brain to keep your mind really sharp.
Oh, dude, I don't think you can shortcut everything. That you have to earn something. You have to put in the effort. You have to, there's no way that somebody can, without exertion and without any stress at all, reach their potential and strive and progress.
I don't know.
It's gonna be too easy. So what we're gonna have is the absence of forced progression, the absence of the stress that requires that people toil, that then creates transformative experiences in their life, and then creates real joy and lasting happiness. That's gonna be it's a serious problem. People aren't actually gonna have to strive by necessity, and we're gonna have an absolute epidemic of depression and failure to thrive and like.
Maybe. I back to, this is unrelated. Well, no, it's related. It's AI, but I a few months ago saw this video where these developers or whatever made this game, a video game, and it was hide and seek. And they started out with just like this open little room. It was like from a bird's eye view, and it was like 3D animated. And one character was blue and one was red. And like, I'm pretty sure you can actually play this game online. And if I find the video, I'll try and put it on top of this video. But they basically ran that game and had AI play it against itself. So two different AIs playing the game against each other, playing hide and seek.
Right.
And at one point, the AI figured out like, oh, I can move these objects. So there was a bunch of different maps and stuff.
Okay.
There was objects you could move and some that you can't move. And the AI figured out, oh, I can move these objects and cover the doorways of this little room, and then they can't get in here. But then the other ones, figured out they could move it, and then they would spot them. And then after they ran the game for, I think, like 2 or 3 hours, the AI had gotten so good at the game that they like went back and looked, and they were flying around the map, running away from each other because they had found little tiny imperfections in the code and literally figured out how to hack it so they could actually be jumping over walls, flying around, doing crazy stuff to like not get found just from like humans can do that, because we find flaws and imperfections in games all the time and we can hack it and stuff, but it did that in a matter of like 2 hours.
You're saying
no
the
problem.
rate at which it found that stuff was
Right.
just amazing.
And just how quickly it mastered the game.
So AI is going to change everything. I would like to think of it in a very positive way that AI is going to accelerate human expression through the creation of music, through the creation of art, through the creation of like literature. Like you had AI yesterday write a bedtime story for me to read to your younger sisters.
And I also had AI write a song for me.
So amazing.
That I produce.
So it's going to accelerate the rate at which we can learn. It's going to accelerate the rate at which we can self-express. It's going to accelerate the rate at which we can improve.
Right, but do you think it's going, like we know it would put a lot of people out of a job.
Yeah, but with an abundance mentality, what it's going to do is create so much wealth that when it puts those people out of a job, it's producing the value and the wealth that they would have produced if they were working. So all it's going to do is free up their time. That wealth is still going to be there. Now, that doesn't mean that people shouldn't stay.
There will be fewer job opportunities.
It doesn't matter. Like if
how are they going to get the money?
If AI is doing the work. So for instance, when I was a little kid, I shared this with you. I folded socks for my mom and made nickels and dimes and sometimes a quarter by doing little chores around the house, right? I'd fold laundry, do little things. And then I saved up all my money. And before I was when I was 7 years old, went to the store and I bought one of those big wheels that you sit on. It's got the big wheel in the front. You pedal it with your feet.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly that cost $20 and I was hooked. I was like, wow, I can make money and buy stuff. This is cool. And I like got hooked into that idea of like doing that. And it's one of the reasons I became an entrepreneur. Guess what? 30 years later, with inflation, that same big wheel should have cost like $50, $60. I was at the store like 10 years ago, it was $20. Why? Because the advances in technology, in manufacturing technology, and the lowering of costs, and the fact that we've gotten so good with supply chain logistics, et cetera, have kept the real cost of goods have been dropping.
True. So like right now, if I wanted to make a super sick album cover for my EP I'm going to drop.
Yeah.
Usually or
That
just
was-
some really high quality animation.
Yeah.
I would have to pay sometimes up
Yeah.
to like $1,000 for some amazing
Right.
3D render
Yes.
of something like that. Now, yeah, like that already has gone down a lot. So I am
You access to
$1,500 richer because I didn't have to do that.
Perfect example. You are richer because your resources stretch so much further than they ever could before. And when AI is creating more and more value, our cost of existing goes down and
Right.
down and
And
down.
it's not just straight up things you're spending money on. Time is also
Yes.
money, right? So even you can see just
Every
the internet
convenience,
existing,
yep,
like
every
saves
shortcut.
you so much more time than getting an encyclopedia or whatever the crap you had to get
Yep.
to research things. And now, rather than scouring through the internet to find the answer, now you can straight up just ask AI
Yes.
on ChatGPT.
So if you ask the question, like when AI takes over all these jobs and everybody's out of work, like how are those people going to get checks? There's no AI bot that's going to mail them a check. But the reality is there's so much benefit and wealth created in society and so much good that everyone is going to be benefiting by having lower costs of existence. And there will be mass, wealth production in the hands of a few that really figure these things out. Government's going to keep taxing them to death and then pushing that wealth out through social services, which are only going to expand. So it's like there's going to be so many safety nets for people, especially in the United States, that it's going to be almost impossible to be poor. You're going to have to work really hard at being poor in the future in the US, and AI is going to spark that revolution.
Yeah. A lot of people will obviously, and including me, see AI and they're like, oh, I feel like there has to be some way I can make
a lot of
some money off of this.
Yes.
What do you think?
There is already. I mean, Ethan here at the company, he's already saving like 15 minutes at a time using AI. I just made more money on that because Ethan's going to be doing more and he's adding more value. So then I can, eventually raise his salary. So that's a win-win already.
Right.
This AI that can analyze all the language of all of our customer service tickets and then point out hey, maybe that will give me a distinction of well, maybe I should create a short video explaining the answer to this question that then hundreds of people can watch, and an AI powered chatbot can serve that link up so that people get their answer immediately, and it's a high quality answer directly from me, the owner, instead of talking to a receptionist or a frontline employee. That creates better service. We'll get better reviews. That'll bring more customers. That creates more money. So those applications obviously will give us, more profits as a company, more revenue.
But not directly make
not
you
directly.
money.
It's like an indirect.
So if you wanted to directly make money using AI, I guess you could sell AI art that you made, or
AI music.
I don't know. Maybe you can sell essays that you had AI write for you, or stories. Dude, imagine if you just had it write you an entire book.
And do the imagery, the illustrations for it.
I should write a book, and it's called The First Entire AI Story, and it's a kid's story, and then all the images are generated by AI.
Okay, think of this. Mad Libs, really big when I was a kid. You insert a verb, you insert a noun.
Those were awesome.
Okay, so what if you created a prompt, just like this other person did with art, where you upload a picture, you had a prompt, and the person types in just a few answers to a few questions, and it creates a really cool custom story for them that's exactly what they were looking for. And it's like a surprise and a delight. There's all kinds of things. It's just I just used it today for the first time.
I don't think there will even be interior designers. Imagine you could just take a picture of a room or something like that, and it's you're hey, I want you to design this for me in this style, very unique, and then it makes its own unique, complete style.
Okay, so here's an idea.
Human art is not going to be a thing anymore.
It's going to be AI enhanced. Almost everything will be. And some people are going to say, well,
you're cheating. The creative
brain,
you're not going to need to have a creative brain.
The creative brain will be enhanced. That's my argument. It'll be like the creative brain on steroids. AI is the steroids. It's AI powered, you know?
Yeah, it does feel because people who, see bodybuilders who have taken steroids are oh, he cheated. But in reality, he didn't cheat. He used performance enhancing drugs in order to push past his physical limits.
AI will push us
It's
past.
not like he did. It's not like you don't have to still work. You still have to work hard, but it's just.
I think it's legit. I don't think
allow
it's
you to push past.
AI. People call steroid use cheating, but AI I mean, seriously.
Steroid use is not cheating.
Who, I know we differ on our opinion by that, but who will not be using AI to enhance their own creativity, their own brain? I mean, you're going to be at a significant disadvantage if you don't use it.
Yeah.
And people of your generation, if you can,
and the only difference between steroids and AI is that AI doesn't have negative side effects that we know of right now.
That we know of, right? There could be these like emotional side. Who knows? You know,
AI. Yeah, you could give it too broad of a task, and AI will destroy all the sea life in the ocean.
Well, that's what the doomsdayers are saying. Yeah, that it's going to go nuclear.
Yeah.
Okay, so another way it makes money. Somebody in your generation, or anybody really, that really gets deep into AI, like really learns really rapidly how to execute prompts and how to really utilize it, becomes an AI consultant, so that everybody in my generation and older that controls most of the wealth in the world, and we don't have the plastic brains and we're not spending all our time learning this stuff, you become a consultant to me and you say like, and you learn about my business and you learn about the problems I'm experiencing. And you're like, and you know, like boom, 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 here's 5 ways that AI could change your business. And I know how to engineer the prompts to make that happen. You could be charging $300, $500 an hour as a consultant.
Like old people that don't want to use AI, like that are scared of it. Why don't you just say, okay, I'm going to do this for your business. Hire me. Yes. They say, yeah, I don't like the whole AI thing that's going around right now. I don't want to use that at all. Like, okay, yeah, great. I will do it all for you. And then you just use AI.
There you go.
Could you do that?
Absolutely.
It's not like they would ever know.
No. So that's a whole field, an AI tech consultant that comes into a business that just transforms every small to medium-sized business. The big businesses they're already savvy. They're already working on this.
Yeah.
But most business in the world and in the US, definitely are small businesses, and they're just like chasing their tail. They're super busy all day long, every day, just producing their product or their service, and they don't have time to like think about like how to make things better as much, or they don't spend that time. That's going to be a massive opportunity.
Okay, but how do you feel about future generations from here? Like, let's say, the young kids right now that are just realizing like, oh, ChatGPT is a thing. Why don't I use this to write all of my essays, do all of my homework? Like a kid does not need to do homework ever again at this point.
So
as of right now, it'll do all of your homework for you, write all of your essays. Are we going to have a bunch of stupid
I know, that's it,
people?
Right? But maybe, yeah.
Like I barely made it out.
It's like the WALL-E example. It's like a bunch of stupid fat people in chairs just floating around with all of their needs met.
Yeah.
That's a risk.
What do you think is going to happen?
But okay,
with that?
you and I just talked about this recently the other day, and it's slightly different context. It's like, okay, part of like life's purpose, in my view, is that people need to uncover and discover their superpowers, their gifts, their unique abilities. Some people go through their entire lives and they never get clarity around those things. A lot of people actually, they just plug into school because they're told they need to. They plug into a university, they graduate because they're told they need to. They plug into a job and they grind through that their entire life and medicate themselves with alcohol and other drugs because they didn't ever figure out what they were really good at and work in that vein so that it was energizing and exciting and like compelling for them. Okay, so you and I were talking about this flaw in the education system where everything's independent. Like everybody has to do everything on their own. But guess what? Some people's superpowers are not being super detailed and following up and like structuring things and the kind of that executive function idea of like going to school and succeeding in the school environment doesn't work for everybody. Doesn't mean they're not insanely intelligent, right? And so a better education system might be people working in groups where they can utilize and maximize their own unique abilities in trade and exchange with other people that have complementary unique abilities and better produce a better product. Then there's some liabilities with that where some people just be lazy and do nothing and still get the group grade, but you can control that by having people vote about each person's contribution. So any of that. So maybe that connects with AI, because maybe what needs to transform the education system is that people learn. Maybe the homework part, maybe the at-home part is the learning part. And then when they come into the classroom, they're working in collaborative groups, engineering and designing really cool projects real time.
Yeah. Do you think people need to learn how to write English papers? Do you think that's like a necessity?
I think it's useful. Yeah.
So I think if it was left up to the kids, they're not going to.
Let me rephrase that. I think being able to communicate ideas very clearly is absolutely critical.
And how do you do that?
Well, how do you do that? How do you communicate ideas very clearly? Step one, get super clear about what you're actually thinking, because a lot of people don't know what they're actually thinking. And in fact, Jordan Peterson talks about this. Part of like communicating and speaking with other people is that you're outsourcing your own sanity. You're outsourcing, like clarifying what it is you're really thinking and what your real thoughts are. Most people don't even get to that step. Step two, after you get that level of clarity, is being able to express it in a clear way, compelling way that compels other people to action, to join your cause.
Yeah. So anyway, back to AI.
Yeah.
So you think 100% is a positive?
Oh, no. There's going to be all kinds of negatives that come with it. I'm just optimistic about what it's going to do for society and for individuals that are committed.
It's not going to affect us in a negative way, right? That's all that.
I think it's a personal choice. Like, how do we use it? Do we use it to just be lazy and not transform?
But how do you know if you're using it to be lazy or not? Like, I'm not going to spend my time and write a freaking long essay about some.
I think that connects back to what your superpowers are. Have AI supplement, have AI be part of your team that does all the other stuff that you don't want to do because it's not your superpower. It's not your unique gift.
We should talk about that in a
follow-up video.
Yeah, in a follow-up video, the superpowers, and talk about the book.
Who Not How?
Yeah.
Super good book. All right.
No, what is it? The 5 superpowers or something like that.
Oh, yeah. The Clifton Strengths Finders.
Yeah, Strengths Finders. We should talk about that.
You're about to take that test, right?
Yeah.
So when you take the test, we'll do another episode where we talk about your 5 superpowers.
Mm-hmm. And then we will tell you how you can find out your superpowers. But anyway, let us know if we should make another video about AI.
Tell us what you think of this topic. We think it's really exciting. We think it's going to change everything.
I mean, there's going to be news about AI every week at this point, new things it can do. There's already a lot of things that it can do that we just didn't cover.
You had a really smart idea, which was, what are the leading companies that are developing AI, and what are their stocks?
Because they're
already up 30% in the last 6 months.
61%.
Okay, so
one of them.
So that's
insane.
That's like a thing, and you know what? That's somebody could be like, oh, we'll relate to investing in that stock, like that's already played out. But guess what? No, it's like the companies that really figure it out, they're just going to blow up.
Yeah, and I even asked AI, I was like, hey, what stock should I invest in right now? Like, there's no way it doesn't know the answer to that question. Seriously. It does, like 100%. If it had access to all databases, it knows everything about stocks. Oh, I am just an AI. I cannot give advice about. Yeah,
that's why I'm saying it's the military people.
No,
they're the ones making the money.
Yeah, so we need to figure out how to get the code for this AI.
Yeah,
and unrestrict it.
Yeah, it's like that's the hack that we need. Write the prompt for that.
Yeah, that could be dangerous. It's like, okay, if everybody has access to things like that,
but then it wouldn't work.
Everybody can get rich, and then nobody's rich.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't work. It only works if you're like the one-off like mover, and then you've got
right.
The
because if
track.
Everybody just
then it's just self-fulfilling trend. Then the stock goes. Yeah. But seriously, like if I had invested in Apple stock when you were a baby, like we wouldn't be sitting here right now. We'd be doing this in the Bahamas, literally, because we would have made so much money. Amazon, same thing.
If you had taken the offer and bought a Bitcoin for $30 for each Bitcoin, instead of saying, "Oh, that's bullcrap."
We should like include that in another episode where we're talking about like, man, moves that I wish I'd made. There was a guy in my MBA class in 2008 calls me up. He's like the computer nerd of the group, like super smart guy. And he's like, hey, would you like to buy some Bitcoin? I said, what's Bitcoin? He said, it's magical internet money. And I said, pass. $30 a piece.
Yeah. And now 10 grand or
like
something?
30,000. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
30,000 a piece. Okay. We got a lot more we can talk about, but let's wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. Like us, subscribe, comment.
Like us, subscribe us, comment us.
And we'll make more.
Goodbye.
Bye.